Oops. Good afternoon, AAHA family, friends, and visitors. We wish you the joy of a happy holiday season, and we thank you again for your continued support of our efforts to research, to collect, to document, display, distribute information related to the history and genealogy of African Americans in Fauquier County. Now, as we approach the holiday season, we want to take this opportunity to visit with you face to face in a relaxed atmosphere and let you know how we're doing, especially since the COVID pandemic has limited our direct contact over the past couple of years. So we also want to hear from you about your plans, if any, for the holidays, your traditions, your memories, upcoming events, or anything else you would like to share with us. I did take a little internet search on the December holidays, and I learned that there are far more than I realized, but I'll just take a little time and talk about the three major holidays. Now, historically, in the US, we celebrate Christmas, the birth of Christ, on December 25th. We know that gifts are exchanged, symbolizing God's giving the gift of his son, Jesus Christ, to the world, so that believers would have eternal life in heaven. Children receive gifts from Santa Claus, who travels from the North Pole on a sled that's led by reindeer. Festive celebrations with decorated trees, decorated homes, decorative lights can be seen throughout the communities and on commercial buildings during this time. And this goes on for at least until New Year's Day. Schools and most businesses are closed, and special church services are also observed during the Christmas holidays. Now, the Jewish faith celebrates Hanukkah or Chanukah, which is an 8-day celebration commemorating the rededication of the Second Temple in Jerusalem following the Maccabean revolt in the 2nd century BCE. Also known as the Festival of Lights, Hanukkah begins on the 25th of Kislev on the Hebrew calendar. Celebrations revolve around lighting the menorah. On each of the holidays' 8 nights, another candle is added to the menorah after sundown. The 9th candle is used to light the others. This year, Hanukkah fell between sunset on November 28th and nightfall on December 6th in 2021. Celebrations included singing special songs, reciting a special prayer, eating special foods, and playing games and gift giving. Another holiday celebrated during this time is Kwanzaa, which is an annual African-American celebration of family and community that's held from December 26th through January the 1st. It was created by Maulana Karenga, who is an American professor of Africana Studies. At one point, he was at California State in Long Beach. He's an activist and an author as well. Kwanzaa is a Swahili word that means first, and it signifies the first fruits of the harvest. It was first celebrated in 1966. Families come together and celebrate with feasts, music, storytelling, poetry readings, dancing, and other entertainment. The holiday ends with a day dedicated to reflection and recommitment to the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, which translated in English are unity, self-determination, collective responsibility in work, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. Now, each of these 7 days of Kwanzaa celebrates these principles respectively. Now, among other religious holidays, the Rahashtu, or the Bodhi Day, celebrated by the Buddhists on December 8th, and the solstice, which is celebrated on December 21st. There are also a number of Catholic holidays celebrated in conjunction with Christmas. So my question to you who are visiting us is, do you know of other holidays that are being celebrated during this time? If you do, just let us know. Okay, doing my research, one of the things I learned from Better Homes and Gardens website, that December also celebrates several other holidays that they call special days. Among them are Art and Architecture Month, Eggnog Month, Hand Washing Awareness Month, Hi Neighbor Month, Learn a Foreign Language Month. Can you imagine that? Made in America Month, National Drunken Driving Prevention Month. I'm sorry. National Fruitcake Month, which I can imagine because a lot of people have fruitcake during Christmas. National Identity Theft Prevention and Awareness Month. December is National Pear Month. Procrastination Awareness Month. Read a New Book Month. Root Vegetable Month. Safe Toys and Gifts Months. Stress-Free Family Holiday Month. I guess we could use that. There's a Tomato and Winter Squash Month celebration. Tropical Fruit Month. Universal Human Rights Month. World AIDS Awareness Month. And Write a Friend Month. And I would enjoy that one. And there are other sites that offer December celebrations if you want to Google them, but there are quite a few of them. Now, some of you might remember that around this time last year, the AAHA celebration, we visited archives that were related to Listen, the Community Speaks, which gave highlights from some of the conversations with individuals who were born between 1920 and 1933. And what these individuals remembered about their Christmas tradition was amazing and also heartwarming. In those days, most families had several children and limited finances, but their homes were rich with love, joy, creativity, and harmony. Children made the decorations for the trees and the windows out of crepe paper, cotton balls, ropes, evergreen branches, or whatever their imaginations would allow. A common memory from those who shared their Christmas stories was that the children got at least one toy and new clothes for school. During the holidays, there was plenty of food, including ham, they mentioned turkey, fruit, nuts, candy, cakes, and pies. And another shared memory from nearly 100 years ago was that even though they, as children, didn't receive much compared to the children today, they were very, very thankful. And this brings to mind that while many of us prepare to celebrate the holidays with shopping and gift giving, parties, food, family, fellowship, and fun, there are many of us who do not look forward because of dire circumstances or natural disasters, as happened with the tornadoes. Some people experience financial hardships, some have health concerns, or the loss of significant loved ones. So let us be mindful of these situations and be thankful for the blessings that many of us have. At this time, we would like to take a 12-second moment of silence, 1 second for each month of the year, to reflect, meditate, or pray. Let's bow our heads. Okay. So today we thought we would cover some holiday topics and share with you and ask you to share with us some of your memories about the holidays as you were growing up, or that maybe your parents or others in the family might have shared. One of the topics is our early memories of the holiday season. Is there anyone who would like to share any of your early memories of the holiday season? I can start. And then if there's someone else who wants to share, just come and join us. I grew up in the 1950s in the Haiti community of Warrenton. And when I was a little girl, my mother would take my sister and me up on Main Street in Warrenton to see Santa Claus. And it was at Sears Roebuck when Sears was up there. And it was so exciting for me. Main Street would be decorated with huge red or green or gold fluffy garlands. And they would extend from one side of the street, Main Street, to the other. And I think there was a Santa Claus and his reindeer somewhere in the middle. But it was always exciting to go up on Main Street. There was always a huge Christmas tree, as there is now on the courthouse porch. And Christmas music would be playing in the stores. And there was a Ben Franklin store on the corner of Main Street and what is now 2nd Street. And there would be toys downstairs in their basement. And they'd be playing Christmas music. And it was just so exciting. And all I ever wanted when I was a little girl was a doll baby and a set of dishes. Every year, what do you want? A doll baby, a set of dishes. Till I was old enough to want a bicycle. And the Safeway store was up on Main Street. And just before Christmas, it would just be crowded with people buying groceries. And on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in Hayti, you could hear the bells from the First Baptist Church over on Alexandria Pike, and they would be playing Christmas carols. And sometimes you could hear the bells from the Presbyterian Church, which was up on Main Street. But it was truly a festive time of the year. And that's my memory, or my early memories of what the holiday season was like. So who else would like to share?
I'll share a favorite Christmas memory.
Okay.
There was one year, I was the oldest of 10 kids, and I grew up in South Dakota.
Oh.
And there was one year, there probably weren't 10 of us yet, but my parents called us all together for a family meeting and told us that money was tight that year and that we wouldn't be getting as much for Christmas as we had on other Christmases. And so we were sort of prepared to not get a lot, and maybe for it not to be particularly fun. But what I remember, we had the previous year, my sister, who was closest to me, and I hadn't gotten, I think they were bride dolls. Mm-hmm. And we'd given them quite a bit of wear playing with them during the year. And my mom made new clothes for them. And I think she was able to get new hair for them. Mm-hmm. And so those dolls were under the Christmas tree. And to us, they were just as good as new. And it was extra special that she had gone to so much effort to make it special for us.
Oh, what a beautiful memory. I remember the bride dolls. They had the little bride dresses and the veils. I came up during that time. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Lovely story.
This is Angela. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. I think for Karen and I, we remember Christmas almost had a 3-part to the day. The early morning was at home, looking at our gifts from Santa Claus. And by the time it was for the second part of the day, some of those toys did not look quite the same as they did when we first opened them Christmas morning. There were 3 little boys after us, and they were notorious for roughhousing.
Yeah.
And they had the toys for the boys, the trucks and the tractors and
Right.
what have you. The second part of the day was a trip down to my mother's mother on the farm.
Mhm.
And this was the biggie because our Uncle Jack always had a monetary gift.
Mhm.
And we had $5 bills to get started.
Wow,
And that was
that's
big.
good. Yeah.
And his lady friend, his companion, we always called her Miss Pauline. She just about every year would give us a doll, Karen and I. And the dolls would be relatively well-dressed dolls. And then one year we got a step up. We had something called a bed doll.
Mm.
It was a beautiful doll that just sat on the bed with this nice flowing dress on, and it never, got played with like the other dolls. That's the second part. The third part of Christmas Day, we went to our father's parents in Asheville. We had to drive there, which was a whole, 3 to 4 miles, Jerry, I think. And that was big because there we had cousins, first cousins who were around our age and older. So that was a big, exciting day. There we may have gotten maybe a tiny little gift, but nothing major. The big thing there was the Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
And my dad's siblings and their children would all be there. And then Christmas night, it was kind of a wind down, but it for some reason was just as fun. I don't know, I guess being gone all day and then getting back home, you actually realized what you had gotten and how much fun you had during that day. And that was Christmas for us just about every year until we were teenagers, and not older. Yeah.
It's beautiful. There any others?
Getting ready for it was equally as fun. Be in the kitchen watching mom doing the fruit cakes. So she had a
That's right.
recipe for a light fruit cake and a dark fruit cake. The cake part of it, and she would soak the berries and the nuts and the fruit well for quite a little time before it would go into the dough and everything. So just getting ready for everything and trying to get the Christmas tree and get Daddy to go get the tree. That was a biggie. Because Daddy
procrastinated.
well, he worked. He was home on Wednesday afternoons and Sundays. And so a lot of times, we'd be waiting for Daddy to come, and Daddy would be waiting for that paycheck, do his Christmas shopping for us, whether it be groceries or whatever else. And a lot of times that was Christmas Eve. And then most of our shopping was done in Front Royal or Winchester. So making those trips, and then depending on the weather, the snow and everything, a lot of things played into all of that. Of just trying to maneuver and to get everything together. But trying to straighten up and get ready for the tree, and it was all very exciting. It was exciting. And we had an uncle a great uncle. He was married to our mother's sister in New York, and he worked at a toy store. And quite often boxes would come throughout the year of different things that were broken or needed a little attention. So Uncle George would send different things down there, and Peter and I used to explore. Mom had boxes on shelves, and Peter and I would be up on top of shelves looking. We were notorious for that. Very busy children. They were. Yes, we were. We had fun that way.
Christmas was a fun time. It was a fun time. And I know it's the theme of dolls. I remember when it was a doll, then the bride dolls. I remember, and then the bed dolls. And I remember some older aunts in my family would have dolls on their bed. They'd have crochet dresses. You weren't allowed to touch them. So I imagine that's the kind of doll you had.
Yeah, I guess it was. I don't know who made the dress, or I don't even know.
A lot of times
That dog That doll was very different from the little doll that you put on the
It was
show.
Right,
more like
yeah.
a Barbie doll with
Right, yeah.
with felt that was laced
Mm-hmm.
into like different squares. They were
Yeah.
circles,
Right.
and they
yeah.
went around the doll.
That's
and they
right.
kept getting larger and
bigger.
larger and
Oh,
Yeah,
larger.
and
And
she
then
would
they'd
sit up,
up.
right.
Mhm.
She would sit up, right. Yeah, that's really interesting. A lot of it made me think of the next topic, which you actually talked about, were the family traditions. Because basically that's what they are. Now, when I was growing up, we always had a cedar tray. I didn't particularly like them. Some of our friends had pine trees and they were, wider. But we always had cedar tree. And in the early years, my uncles and my brothers would get those cedar trees from Academy Hill or Cedar Run. So that's probably why we ended up with cedar trees. And we used to have a green wreath with a single candle that we would put on our window facing the street every day. I mean, every year, year after year after year. 50 cents and the 60s, that same little green wreath served our home as a decoration. And my grandmother used to make fruitcake. And she would make it from scratch. And she would start in November after Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
And she would put them in these tall, silver looking containers, metal, tin.
Tins.
Yeah, real shiny tin containers. Yes, well, I was in there just, and then what she would do is every week on Fridays, she would have some Applejack brandy. She'd open it up and pour it over the fruitcake. So by Christmas, it was ready. And we as children weren't supposed to bother those, but we did. And then another thing about us is our toys or gifts that we got for Christmas, they were never in boxes wrapped up like they do now. All of us had, my brothers and sisters had our own little section under the tree. And, this is your section, and this is yours. And we'd have our doll and our dishes, or, and our clothes or whatever, in our own little section. And on New Year's Day, my uncle, Gene Lee, who lived across the street with my grandmother, my great-grandmother, he would always come to our house on New Year's Day first. And the tradition was that a man would have to enter your home first. And if he did not, then there would be bad luck. So then after he passed, then some of my other uncles did that. But that's a tradition I remember very, very well.
I don't remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah. Keep the unwanted women away from your husband.
I don't know, but as even in my adulthood, I remember ladies were not expected to visit you on New Year. Any women visit on New Year's. Yeah, I remember that. I don't know what that meant. I don't know.
You said if a woman came, well, you got to wait until Jean comes over, and then you were allowed. Then the holiday traditions that we had in our schools. I used to go to Roosevelt Elementary, then I went to Taylor High School. And at Roosevelt, we would have plays, and we would draw names. And in the lower grades, the teacher would read towards the night before Christmas. And as we got older in the higher grades, then there would always be someone who was able to recite them that story. And that was always a part of our traditions at Christmas time in the schools. And in high school, we drew names as well. And we had the dramatics club with Mrs. Downing led us. And we'd always have a Christmas play. One time we did the play about Scrooge. Yeah, Christmas Carol. Yeah, thank you.
Ronald Ross was.
Yeah, right. Yes. And we also had choir and band concerts in that time. So is there anyone among us in the audience?
I would love to hear how Christmas is celebrated in Seattle.
Yeah.
growing up in Seattle, my family is Japanese American. So in Japan, they don't really celebrate Christmas. It's kind of a little more kind of it's like Western or another kind of Christian holiday.
Yeah.
Familiar with like Bodhi Day, in Buddhism. But in Japan, they actually eat this whole Christmas cake.
Oh.
So it's like a white cake flavored with like fruit around it, and that's kind of part of the celebration there. But then growing up in the Seattle area, I always loved, and things have changed so much now with e-commerce, but still have vivid memories of going to the shopping malls, all decorated.
That's
and
right.
Carolers there, and so
That's
I kind of
right.
caught the last of that, and staying at the shopping mall. I do also have memories of actually going with my dad kind of and my family out to Cascade Mountains, which are right about, I want to say like 30 minutes away from like the Seattle area, and then going to a little Christmas tree farm there, and
that's right.
seeing my dad chop down a tree and then throw it into the big nut and put it on the car and hope it doesn't fall off on the way and make it all the way home and keep it freshly watered. So a lot of nice memories.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
And always kind of the big thing around the holidays for us, in the Japanese tradition is New Year's Day. And a lot of the food with New Year's Day is prepared the day before, because you're not supposed to cook the day of, because it means if you do, then you're gonna have to work hard all year long. So my grandma was able to share, before she passed, like with my mom too, like a lot of the traditional Japanese foods before. So it's like still like the mochi rice cakes and things like that. So I still find ways in my own home to kind of keep those little traditions alive. It's never going to be the same, but it's still very cool that a lot of those things carry on.
They do. And it's good to carry those memories on.
It's definitely.
And down to the next generation, to those that we know.
Look, at my house, it was like a party because my grandparents worked for this family, and they would have a party prior to Christmas. So that next day, they would bring like the party hats and the little things that you blew. So everything, and then you had your toys, and we have pictures of us with like little hats on, and just all kinds of fun stuff.
That sounds like a lot of fun. It really does. Celebration, and that's what we do. We celebrate and we eat. We celebrate. We eat.
Mainly.
What about the holiday traditions in the churches? You have any particular memories? Anyone? Oh, okay.
Christmas night. For about 10 years, till I was around 10 or so, we went to First Baptist Church in Asheville for the Christmas program. That was annual. So everybody from Morgantown, Rectortown joined First Asheville for the Christmas program. And I got there, forgotten my poem, Wind Through the Olive Trees. But it came back to me enough. And I was debating whether I should do a long poem or a short poem. Aunt Ethel told me to do the long poem, and I went absolutely blank. But finally it came to me. But that was one thing I think community-wide,
that's right.
Northern Folk-Wide was to have that joint program. And it was Christmas night. I always remember that.
Because my husband Phil, is out of First Asheville. And even up until COVID, they always had their Christmas candlelight service. And we would attend. And a lot of people would come out. Would be surprised. Usually the ones that I've been to were like the Sunday before Christmas.
There was a candlelight too, I think. It was dark.
Right. They'd come in, process with their candles in their hands and sing. It's a celebration that goes on down. It's gone down through the generations. And some, especially in the churches and the rural churches. Keep those traditions.
Because we've kind of been able to maintain it because they're descendants.
That's
from
right.
The earliest families still in the community.
That's right. And still attending those churches.
When I gave birth to Ebony, and then I moved back here in the late 70s, we started having some Santa visits Christmas Eve, so that she'd be able to go out to Maryland to her other family and have time there as well. Not to be selfish with the love, but to spread it out a little bit more.
That's right.
And all of a sudden, Santa started appearing. And that Santa visited us every Christmas Eve. And Santa would dress, and as Santa aged, it became more difficult. But we were fortunate here at AAHA to have Santa visit here to take some pictures.
Is that right?
Yeah, I remember Norma was here, and Aunt Lillian took pictures with Santa and some other visitors that day. But for my grandkids, my kids and grandkids, some of them were able to share with Santa, and Santa was our oldest brother, who's not with us now, but he passed in October. But talking about traditions, that was a big thing, and the kids talked about that so much of the visits with Santa. And so just whenever we have those treasured moments, we have to hold on to them and take pictures.
That's right.
And share.
Yeah, I was about to ask too. Anyone who's watching us or visiting us now, please send us any pictures that you might have of not only Christmas occasions, but any holiday occasions and family occasions, and then we can put them online or stream them in some way so that the rest of the community could see them. For me, I went to Mount Zion Church in Warrenton, and we always had little programs with speaking parts where we had to learn, like you did, Angela, learn our parts. And the churches were always decorated with wreaths and candlelights. And it was a main thing. There's always a nativity scene in the churches and refreshments after the programs. And children were given little bags. Did you see that? Yeah, we got those at Asheville too. Little bags with candy and nuts and an orange at least, sometimes a tangerine. But that was something that's always looked forward to.
I think everything's been a number of Ebenezer. We've always had Christmas programs, and goodie bags, but different people would participate in it. Sometimes the local Masonic Lodge would participate with the church. And one year we actually had a program where we read from Matthew, Christ's genealogy. And we had representatives from those 42 generations that proceeded through the church.
Now that's a good idea.
Kings. So it was pretty good. And I remember Norma's grandmother, Eva. She was one of our main cast members one year. We did an activity to where someone was sleeping, and it was in modern day time. And she played that part very well, but it was a way of getting the older generation in with the newer generation, and it creates fond memories.
It does.
And having photographs helps out as well to share with the younger generation.
That's right.
It was, I just remembered when you said in present language, we had our little play at church with the kids on Sunday past.
Oh, okay.
And your cousin Obi, Jerry, was the angel, right?
Yeah.
And he comes out with, "Hey, Mary, you're gonna have a baby." And being my conservative self, almost passed out. I got through it, but I'm thinking, my goodness, this is the language the kids hear all the time, so they understood exactly what he was saying.
Hey, man.
That's he said, "Hey, Mary, you're gonna have a baby," and he was up on a ladder, so he looked real, intimidating. But yeah, it was great. I just when you said that, and I guess over the years, language has changed, and the presentation deliveries have changed, and we just have to grow with it, go with it, or whatever is the right phrase is, because messages are the same.
So it's just like today, we are trying to move into a different
Yeah, like this.
Yeah, different way of celebrating and commemorating.
Communicating.
Yeah.
So what about our favorite Christmas songs?
I don't know that I have a favorite. I'm very fond of the Holly and the Ivy. And I don't.
How does that go with?
Now that's me.
1, 2, 3.
But I don't know. I guess because I like accents, right? And I can't even think of the guy that sings it. Oh, he was born in Kenya, but he's, I think, English. And so when I hear that, that I like hearing that he's born in Kenya. He talked about Kenya so favorably, but he was English and he's European. But he sings this song so nicely, but it has a little bit of accent. So that's what attracts me. So Holly and the Ivy is mine.
It's a call again. Let me write that down. I'll go listen. Holly
and the Ivy.
Oh.
And you have to really listen to it to get the message. I mean, the story that's going on.
But the kids used to sing "Go, Go Where I Send Thee." Yeah, that was
Well, that's what the lady here used to sing. That in Reverend Montgomery's group.
Yeah. So
I can't. The mother. I can't think of her name. The 3 generations.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I was a girl, before I even started school, there used to be this program that came on the radio before we had television. And it was called Don McNeil's Breakfast Club. And this host was Don McNeil, and he would have songs, and he would have people come by as guests. And there would be a period where he would have a silent prayer. And he would have a rally around the breakfast table. I just remember this so well. Our breakfast table was against the wall. So my mother and I used to just rally around the middle of the floor. We just march around the middle of the floor. And one time he played Walking in the Winter Wonderland. It was near Christmas. And I remember looking out of our window and it was snowing coming down and I was looking for Santa Claus to come. So every time after that, when I hear snow bells ring, I listen. I just go right back to that moment. I go back to that time. So that's my favorite Christmas song. Some people, go with the carols with most people, Silent Night, I love Silent Night, yeah. But that's one of my favorites. And sometimes when I hear it on the radio, in different versions, no matter what, it just takes me back to those days. And I was a very little girl.
I think for me, I like to tell it on the mountain.
Yeah.
That kind of.
Kind of puts you in the Christmas spirit. When I was little and we said, "You have the spirit yet?" No, not yet. I got the spirit. Oh, I got it. Well, here walking in the winter Wonderland, I had it. But the feeling comes over you. At least it did with me.
See, I was excited to put Mariah Carey on.
Yeah.
So when it was time.
Yeah, that's right. That's
I
right.
have a whole playlist of Christmas songs. I just let it go.
Yeah. I do. So what about our favorite Christmas gifts? Anybody remember any of those? Remember favorite Christmas gifts?
I don't know, maybe the doll that used to walk.
The walking
And you held
dolls.
her hand and she was tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sheila got one and I got one.
Yeah. I never got that was the thing, the walking doll.
Yeah.
Walking dolls.
And then the Chatty Cathy. If you got a Chatty Cathy, that was a good time. She could talk. Yeah.
I was too old.
Please, Wendy, I remember getting a doll, very much like the one that I had up here yesterday. I think I was in the 1st grade. I got a cast iron bank and a stove. And the stove had coal buckets, the pot, and all of those things. Now, I was what you would call a little naughty person growing up into everything. And quite often they would tell me that Santa wasn't gonna bring me anything but Oh.
Switches it out.
Switch it to that.
That's what I was
cold bucket.
proud of. Yeah.
And when I saw the stove. That's what you thought? Oh, yeah. But those were some of the things that I loved the most was those cast iron toys. And the doll you wrap, and the weight of it made you think it was a real doll. So those things meant a lot to me, as well did my bicycle. I think I was in the second grade when I got Nellie Bell.
Yeah.
Nellie Bell, huh?
Yeah, that was her
Right.
name.
Wow.
Do you know who Nellie Bell is?
Yeah. You talk about the vehicle, the
Yeah.
Roy Rogers.
Pat Brady's Jeep.
Yeah.
I thought I was older.
Well, I mean, we still play those westerns.
Yeah, that's right. Even as they were old.
I can tell you a story. It's kind of it's convicting of me, but Christmas kind of puts you wanting to be good.
Yeah, right.
Somehow a window at our house got broken.
Uh-oh. Somehow.
And Karen was seen at the crime. So I just let it slide, And my daddy came home and he looked at how high the window was and how small Karen was. And he said, Karen didn't break that window. But I never confessed. A couple of days later, Daddy said, we're going to Winchester to see Santa. Now, if you broke that window and don't say you did, that's not good for Santa to know. But if you did and you go ahead and say you did, Santa might, go ahead and come. And do you know, I confessed. And there were other things that I had done before Karen got blamed for.
So you did the whole thing.
Did you confess along?
But it got to the point, I got so tired of being caught in my tail.
Right.
That, it's better to tell the truth and get it over with.
Yeah.
And to this day, I just have a problem with truth. I really, if you can't tell the truth, I feel like I can't work with you.
That's right.
I can't
That's
operate with you.
That's true.
And a mistake is a mistake. Just own up to it.
That's right.
But that's one of my biggest problems I'm having to waver through now, is just not knowing if what I'm hearing is true. And hopefully it is, because we can operate, when you give us the truth and
That's right.
front of it. But anyway, that's my conviction from Christmas.
What you learned, you learned a valuable lesson.
After all, you just don't
so
want to fight it anymore.
Yeah, some point.
Daddy was. He would look into everything.
He was so investigative. He loved some of these news reports. Yeah.
Because how many siblings did he have?
It was 7 of them.
Oh, well, then he probably went through all of that himself when
He was on
young.
the lower end, right? He was, I'm right in the middle, I
He
guess.
was middle.
He was in the middle, 3 before, 3 after. Yeah. So he got it from both ends.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So one more thing that we might want to share about the holidays. What about our favorite movies? Anybody have a favorite Christmas movie?
I am still looking for a Christmas Carol. For some reason, I just like the movie. It's 2 or 3, even a modern rendition.
Right.
But I do like that. And I don't know whether it's the mystery of the ghost or what it is, but I just somehow like that movie always.
Grinch Stole Christmas.
Huh?
You like the Grinch?
Yeah, the Grinch, that's a good one.
Or even like the Charlie Brown.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, well, I was looking
Right.
forward to that, yeah.
I remember having speaking of the Grinch, like having the Dr. Seuss book. Reading through that.
Yeah.
The little dog is the reindeer.
Because even back to gifts, you guys can't relate. I was excited about getting a color TV. You know what I'm saying? Because we had black and white, yeah.
I remember like
Right.
Joseph just said it, and that was the one I was thinking was National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of people enjoy Elf. A lot of people. That's traditional for a lot of people. Yeah. I think about when I was little, It's a wonderful life.
I
I've
seen
seen
that
it.
maybe twice.
My sister likes it.
Yeah, that was so good. I watched it when I was a little girl. Yeah.
That's when the angel gets his wings, right?
Yeah, that's
every
right.
time the bell rings.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was the right one.
I
Yeah.
remember seeing it when I was a little girl, and then I just didn't see it for a long time. And then when I was grown and living in Detroit, and it came on. And then those memories of Christmas back home, then it just came up. So I still watch it, whenever it comes on for free,
Mhm.
then I watch it. And I seem to remember or learn something new every time I watch it. Oh, I didn't catch that one.
What about decorating? Do you do much decorating at Christmas?
Mhm.
You mean now or back then?
Both.
Yeah,
Like Christine, we had wreaths in the window. A couple of the wreaths had the lights.
Yeah.
I remember that, the Christmas tree. I don't remember a lot more than that.
What about cards? We used to take Christmas cards and tape them up all around.
On the windows,
Yeah,
yeah.
around the walls.
Yeah,
Or
we
the
had it on the
string.
wall.
Yeah, some people would run a string.
String.
Yeah, we
Put
tape
on
them
the
up.
mantle and then
Around the
the
wall.
wall and then the door.
Yeah,
Different place, depending on how many would come in.
Yeah.
yeah. I still do that.
I can remember last year when you were saying something about the cotton balls.
Yeah,
On the tree, we did that too.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, that's what they did. Mhm. Yeah, so this has been a very good discussion. We still have visitors. Just go through. For those who we don't see, just remember to send us pictures of your families, please, and Christmas events and other events that go on. And we'd be happy to stream them. Maybe say the website.
Or that email address.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So about 15 minutes.
Want to give an update on our events that we participated in this year?
Okay. So during 2021, some of our Zoom and Facebook presentations were Remembering Dr. King in January. And the theme was Community Beloved. And then there was the Black History Month in February. And the theme was the Black family, representation, identity, diversity. And then there was a series where we would have a representative from the Library of Virginia, a series of information on researching. And she covered probate records, land records, and tax and fiscal records. Then we had an event on Women's History Month. We presented the Network to Freedom along the journey through the hallowed ground. And then there were two virtual book presentations. One was Hidden Legacies by Tansy Ward. And the second, more recent one, was The Hollow, The Hill, The Mountain, and My Friend Dar by Janice Tibbs. We also continued with the Know Their Names project and named many of the enslaved of Fauquier County. We had a Launch and Learn project where Fauquier County's 2020 and 21 cost and share project was presented. And then there was an excellent presentation on Black housing styles and community patterns in the South from 1870 to 1950, which thoroughly explains why Blacks lived in certain places and why their houses were constructed in certain ways. And then there was the launching of an interactive story map, and that was in May. It was a marvelous project, and we're still getting great reviews about it. And then in October, we did a presentation of cross-cultural conversation with women from Fauquier County and women from Colombia in South America. And that was called From Fauquier to Buenaventura. And of course, there was the Veterans Day scroll of servicemen from Fauquier County. And we did a series of Facebook postings about Fauquier African-American citizens and the various communities that were drawn from the story map. And last week, on December 9th, AAHA received the 2021 Citizen of the Year Award. Yes. The Fauquier County Board of Supervisors representing Scott District. So we were very pleased with those accomplishments during the year. And we thank you so much, our friends who have supported us all down through the years, and particularly last year. And we wish you the joys of a very, very happy holiday. And just know that we remember you and your family always in our prayers. At this time, Karen White, our director, will talk to us about some of the 2022 upcoming events.
We do have a question from Joseph.
Okay.
Does anyone know if Christmas holiday traditions have been collected and preserved from the past?
The traditions have been collected and preserved. Not sure.
Not under that title, but throughout the oral history projects that we have conducted, we have within those oral histories, we have some traditions.
That's right.
And we're hoping that by putting a call out as we are today for people to share with us their Christmas photographs and memories, we'll be able to archive Christmas around Fauquier County. To be able to look at the family photographs, maybe some of the communities activities such as collecting the Christmas trees and different things like that. So that's what we're hoping for. So we are in the process of trying to document more of that. But as far as I know, there's not been one concise done.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. Thank you.
Okay, we will be closing after this week until after the first of the year. We will open on that first Tuesday and Wednesday of January. In the meantime, our website will be active. You'll be able to email us in. I quite often respond to emails whether we're open or closed. Should there be out of towners, sometimes we even open up during the holidays for a special tour if need be, because we do want to support our members. In January on the 15th, we will be celebrating Dr. King's birthday as we normally do, but this year we will continue with the Zoom. And Linda Reed Jolly will be our keynote speaker, and we will have other people participate on that event as well. We will continue with our Poorhouse Project. It's a collaboration of area groups, and we're just one part of that group. So we're documenting that the poorhouses of Fauquier County. As far as the story map, we hope to add additional layers to the story map of the 1861 landholders, which will be a partial listing, as well as the 1860 slave holders and cemeteries. In June, which is our anniversary month, we hope to look at Juneteenth again, but for our anniversary, we're hoping to highlight the American colonization and the immigrants to Liberia with two local people giving more information on that. Dr. Deborah Lee and Pat Rowley. So we have more things coming up, and we're hoping that you'll be able to visit our website for our events. In January, also on the 26th, there will be a book talk, The Ledger and the Chain, which is how domestic slave trade shaped America. And this is by author Joshua D. Rodham. So we will have a lot of things going on next year. And Christine will host several sessions of local people and their research that they have been doing in the family genealogy.
Thank you.
And as far as additional people here, I'm not sure that everyone has met Bobby Robert Jones and Jerry Williams. Now Jerry's gonna give another little update to everyone.
Before I do that, I'll just, we had 2 comments during the presentation. Deborah wanted to say, hi, everyone. I have another commitment and have to go, but wanted to share with you all that I have memories of my grandmother's fruitcakes at Christmas. It was the only time alcohol was allowed in our house. She's being a good Southern Baptist. Just wanted to drop by and say Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and wonderful blessings to you in the new year.
Oh, thank
And
you.
Kathy Marmot wanted to say thank you all for the good work you do at AAHA. Wishing each of you and all of your families all the best for the holidays. Goodbye and best wishes for the new year.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
And then share this. If you take a look at our website, it's aahafauquier.org. We do have a virtual tour that is currently available on the site. It will actually premiere in 2 minutes, so 1:30. And you can also find that on our YouTube page by looking us up at Afro-American Historical Association of Fauquier County. You can also use the website as far as for any submissions. I believe that takes care of most of the things we need.
Okay, so
All right, thank you. Merry Christmas.
thank
Happy
you,
holidays.
everyone. Thank you, everyone, for your support again.
Joyful New Year.
Mhm.
Turns off.
I can talk. Jackie Rector was at church on Sunday. And you might be recording. I was just gonna say, she loves reading the posts that you've been putting up.
Hello, this is Karen White.